Alright. Shalom, shalom. I'm going to give all praise to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of GMS, all the brothers doing the work, the hopeful elect, 144,000, to the house of Israel. And when I do this real quick video, I found here, and pull it up real quick. Alright, it says Israel and US are about to make a huge mistake, and they got some good points I want to bring out in the scripture. And first I want to read this to you. Alright, we can go here to Psalms 58. Do you indeed speak righteousness, you silent ones? Do you judge uprightly, you sons of men? No, and in heart you work wickedness. You weigh out the violence of your hands in the earth. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they are born, speaking lies. Their poison is like the poison of the serpent. They are like the deaf cobra that stops its ear, which will not heed the voice of charmers, charming ever so skillfully. Break their teeth in their mouth, O God. Break out the fangs of the young lions, O Lord. Let them flow away as waters which run continually. When he bends his bow, let his arrows, Salakia, when he bends his bow, let his arrows be as if cut in pieces. Alright. Let's read the NLT. Justice do you rulers know the meaning of the word? Do you judge the people fairly? No, you plot injustice in your hearts. You spread violence throughout the land. These wicked people are born sinners. Even from the birth they have lied and gone their own way. Alright, we're going to get to this video, and I'm bringing some more scriptures later on to back up what he's saying.
Palestinian fighters launched their deadly assault on Israel on October 7th. Many foreign governments rushed to support Israel. Of course, there is no bigger supporter of Israel than the United States, who immediately declared Israel has a right to self-defense. But as Israel prepares for a ground invasion into Gaza, there is a massive problem that, if not corrected, has the potential to not only damage Israel forever, but also lead to the entire collapse of the United States world-led order. Let me explain. Clear evidence has already emerged that Israel is violating international law first established during the Geneva Conventions. On October 11th, the Israeli authorities cut off water, electricity, fuel, internet access, and food to Gaza, amounting...
Alright, I'm gonna read this the scripture real quick. This is Psalm 73 and 4. Salaki, I'm gonna go to 5. They are not in trouble as other men are. They are not stricken like other men. Therefore, pride is their necklace. Violence covers them as a garment. Their eyes swell out with fatness. Their hearts overflow with follies. They scoff and speak with malice. Lawfully they threaten oppression. They set their mouths against the heavens, and their tongue struts through the earth. And that's Esau Edom. Basically what that's saying right there. It's talking about how they conduct themselves. Let's continue.
Amounting to unlawful collective punishment of the civilian population. Although Israeli officials have restored water to some parts of southern Gaza, they are keeping the tap shut in most of the territory. On October 12th, the International Committee of the Red Cross issued a statement noting that without power, Gaza's hospitals are turning into morgues. On October 12th, Human Rights Watch reported that Israel used white phosphorus in operations in Gaza and Lebanon because white phosphorus can cause excruciating burns and long-term medical suffering. Its use in populated areas violates international law. And this is where things get very interesting. U.S. officials have either been unwilling or unauthorized to condemn these Israeli violations of international humanitarian law, putting both the U.S. and Israel in a very difficult position. But first, please don't misunderstand my message today. Before I continue any further, let me be crystal clear on one important fact. I do not support nor condone the violent actions Hamas carried out against innocent Jewish civilians on October 7th. These brutal killings and actions from Hamas against Israel were horrific, and nothing justifies these brutal actions. Israel has every right to defend itself, but one act of terrorism doesn't justify Israel to launch an attack without following international humanitarian laws and ensuring that innocent civilian lives in Gaza are spared. Political scientist Ian Bremer, who has been an outstanding voice of reason throughout this entire conflict, tells the situation exactly as it is. Destroying Hamas will make Israel more safe. Destroying the lives of 2.3 million Palestinians in Gaza will make Israel less safe. Protecting the lives of civilians is a matter of basic humanity. It's also in the self-interest of Israeli citizens. The United States is the only country in the world that can influence and guide Israel right now. In fact, Israel wouldn't have a military or defense force if it weren't for the Americans. The U.S. sends billions of dollars in military aid every year to Israel. But if U.S. weapons are used in military attacks against innocents...
Like I said, why do they do that? I said it in many of my videos. They do that. The reason they do that because they know they don't supposed to be in that land. Amalek and Esau, which is basically brothers kinsmen, they took the land and parted gave it. They took the land from the real Israelites, the 12 tribes of Israel, which are in the four corners of the earth. They took the land and they took the heritage, like the scriptures speak of. I'm probably gonna try to find that. The reason they send all that money over there because they know they're supposed to be in that land, and they know Yahweh shall gonna return and take the land away from them and give it to the real Israelites when he return in the chariots, which they call UFOs. So that's the reason they send all that money over there. So let's continue.
Civilians, the United States government is required under international law to stop supplying those weapons. Of course, we all know the U.S. military oftentimes doesn't follow international law, and for many countries, most especially those in the global south, the inability of the U.S. government to influence and control Israel represents a huge double standard in American foreign policy. U.S. officials have no trouble criticizing other governments for violations of international law. Last year, U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Linda Thomas-Greenfield, condemned Russia's conduct in the war in Ukraine. She advocated areas of Ukraine had been without food, water, electricity, or gas for weeks, and immediately called out Russia for violating international law. But once again, not a single word from the U.S. government when Israel engages in the exact same activity.
All right, let's read the scripture real quick. I'm going to Isaiah 10. I might probably put it up on the screen and read it to you. All right, let's go to Isaiah 10. Let's read this. Okay, this got to do with Esau Edom. Woe to those who decree unrighteous decrees, who write misfortune which they have prescribed, to rob the needy of justice, and to take what is right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. What will you do in the day of punishment, and in the desolation which will come from afar? To whom will you flee for help? And where will you leave your glory? Without me they shall bow down among the prisoners, and they shall fall among the slain. For all this his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still. So they gotta basically do with Esau, Edom, and the unrighteous decrees that they put forth to the people, and they don't even follow it themselves. So that's basically what the scripture is saying right here. Let's go back to the video.
The Biden administration reacted differently to Russia than it did to Israel because it believes the actions of Hamas now justifies Israel's conduct. But international law is not enforced on whether you feel the action is justified or not. If it was, then no party to a conflict would ever feel an obligation to abide by the laws of war. When the United States lets violations of international humanitarian laws slide, that harms America's ability to uphold the rules-based order. To help illustrate my point, I'm going to bring in the expert analysis of Mehdi Hasan, a well-known British-American broadcaster who hosts his own TV show on MSNBC. Get ready for the truth bomb that every American needs to hear.
And President Biden came to office reminding everyone that he had a lot of foreign policy experience. He knows world leaders. He has friends around the world. What this crisis is showing us is that a lot of Arab leaders are not happy with him, didn't want to meet with him. And we forget about the global south. We forget that the rest of the world sees what we do, sees our double standards abroad. This crisis in Gaza, this war, it means the global south will never listen to us again.
And that's the unrighteous decrees I read you in Isaiah 10. How they write unrighteous decrees and don't follow the laws themselves. Those I just read to you in Isaiah 10.
They're never going to listen to us about rules-based orders. We're never going to get through to them.
This is a point I've made in countless videos on this channel. The global south has been completely ignored by the US and its allies for decades. This is why China is the dominant superpower, trusted ally of these countries in the global south. Unfortunately, most Americans live in an information bubble. They have no idea what is going on outside the US borders because our media parrots the belief of American exceptionalism, that we are the greatest nation on earth and every nation wants to follow America's lead. But once you get outside the US borders, the story is often quite different.
Biden and a lot of people in America may see Ukraine and Israel as the same. A lot of people around the world see Russia and Israel the same.
Right.
They see Russia occupying and invading another country and annexing land and dropping bombs on civilians and saying, hey, human shields. And they see Israel doing that in Gaza. Israel is the occupier of the West Bank and Gaza. So that kind of stuff, I know we don't talk about it here in the US on television in Congress. I'm glad you asked the question, because that's what the rest of the world is talking about. That's why America's foreign policy is so unpopular, especially in the Middle East.
Once again, the United States is the only country that can influence Israel in this moment. Since the founding of the country in 1948, Israel has been the largest recipient of U.S. military assistance, accepting more than
See that?
$140 billion from the U.S. government.
$158 billion of U.S. government money sent to Israel. And like I said before, the reason they do that because they know that's not their land. They split the land and gave it to Amalek and Esau. They took the land from the real Israelites, the 12 tribes of Israel that's scattered on the four corners of the earth.
Simply put, Israel wouldn't have survived if it wasn't for U.S. military support, but the U.S. has a duty to make sure our partners uphold agreed-upon standards. The 2022 Civilian Harm Mitigation Response Action Plan is a law that states U.S. security partners are under the same legal obligations as U.S. forces to minimize harm to civilians. Earlier this year, the U.S. government also passed the Conventional Arms Transfer Policy of 2023. Under the law, the U.S. State Department must stop transferring arms to countries that harm civilians with U.S. weapons. There is no way that Washington can look past these laws and give an exception to Israel. It would completely backfire and destroy any remaining credibility the U.S. government has left on the international stage. The reason these policies were implemented, of course, was in response to the tragic errors the U.S. military made in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Syria. The U.S.-led war on terror in the Middle East was an absolute disaster for the region, resulting in the death of millions of innocent civilians. The United States undermined our own mission to the Middle East by failing to prioritize civilian protection. This is exactly why three-time Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist Thomas Friedman wrote this essay for the New York Times entitled, "Israel is about to make a terrible mistake." In my opinion, this is the best article on the Israel and Hamas war, and here is the main takeaway from Friedman. I believe that if Israel rushes headlong into Gaza, now to destroy Hamas, and does so without expressing a clear commitment to seek a two-state solution with the Palestinian Authority and to end Jewish settlements deep in the West Bank, it will be making a grave mistake that will be devastating for Israeli interests and American interests. One massive problem for Israel is the country's prime minister, Benjamin Netanyahu. Netanyahu is not the leader Israel
Amalek.
right now, as he represents the most...
Amalek, don't he look like Biden? They can go for brothers. Like I said, Amalek and Esau, one and the same, kinsmen. So, I basically, when I look at this man, I see Biden. So I see why Biden is support him so and hug him and love on him so much, because they look like brothers. Let's continue.
Most far-right extreme politician in any democracy in the entire world. Let that fact sink in. Netanyahu is a right-wing extremist who has surrounded himself with a cabinet of members that are even more far-right extreme than he is. And it's his cabinet.
Alright, let's get a scripture. I just thought about this. Alright, let's read this. Alright. We're going to Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked rule, the people groan. Alright, we're going to go to 16. When the wicked are in authority, transgression increases, but the righteous will look upon their downfall. Alright, let's continue. That's just basically pertaining to Netanyahu, you wish. Benjamin Netanyahu, you wish.
And was pushing Israel forward with the plan to invade Gaza and get the revenge all of them desperately seek against Hamas. Once again, Ian Bremmer warns us what's really at stake. Hamas has 30 to 40,000 armed fighters in Gaza. The scale of Israeli military operations required to destroy Hamas, the human cost for civilians caught up in that war, will be far, far greater than what we've witnessed to date. Netanyahu should not allow this to happen, but he has trapped himself. He needs those right-wing extremists in his coalition to keep himself out of jail on corruption charges. Unfortunately, Israeli military leaders are more hawkish than even the prime minister right now. They are red with rage and determined to deliver a blow to Hamas that the whole neighborhood will never forget. But the entire world is on edge, and this conflict is on the verge of a tipping point and has the potential to trigger a Middle East war with every great power and regional power participating. Once started,
Oh, that's World War III. So that's World War III right around the corner. And I want to find that scripture where it says, I'm gonna draw all nations to basically the Battle of Armageddon, World War III. I'll find it, but I want to read Salakia. All right, I'll read this right here. Isaiah 33. Woe to you, destroyer, who yourself have not been destroyed, you treacherous one, with whom none has dealt treacherously. When you have ceased to destroy, you will be destroyed, and when you have made an end of dealing treacherously, you will be dealt with treacherously. All right, so let's continue.
This would be very difficult to stop. And once again, Thomas Friedman shares his vision and plan that would actually work for the region. But if Israel feels it must reoccupy Gaza to destroy Hamas and restore its deterrence and security, I repeat, it must pair that military operation with a new commitment to pursue a two-state solution with those Palestinians in the West Bank and Gaza ready to make peace with Israel. Hamas does not represent Palestine. It's important that we make this clarification. There are many innocent Palestinians on the West Bank and in Gaza who simply just want the chance to live the very values that the U.S. government and our allies preach every day. If a group of people have no hope, no future, then this is the exact breeding ground for extreme terrorism, and it's why Hamas was democratically elected into power in 2006. Therefore, Hamas represents an ideology more than a group of people. As long as the illegal settlements, Gaza blockade desperation, poverty, denied self-determination, and the ongoing killing of Palestinians continue, the ideology of Hamas will continue, only with even greater support. Therefore, the only solution that will truly get rid of Hamas is a new two-state solution that gives those Palestinians in the West Bank and Gaza a chance to make peace with Israel, and a chance for hope and a better future. Once again, the entire global south and vast majority of the world already recognize Palestine as an independent state. Once again, it's Ian Bremmer who tells us all the reality of the situation. The essential truth of the Middle East conflict remains that Israelis and Palestinians must find ways to live together.
And that's never gonna happen.
There is no other way.
World War III right around the corner. So all this right here, he can write all he want to. That's not gonna happen. I'm talking about Israelis and Palestinians must find a way to live together peacefully. There's no other way. That's never gonna happen. World War III about to go down, so you can forget that peaceful talk. The Lord about to bring him to war, and I'm gonna read it in Joel 3. Joel 3 and 9. I'm gonna bring it up on screen. I'm gonna read it to you. This is what's gonna happen. So let's end the video.
This is the message that Joe Biden needs to be delivering to Netanyahu. Whether he has the courage to do so and keep Israel accountable to international humanitarian laws is something we are all waiting to see.
Not gonna happen.
Thank you for making it to this point in the video, and I appreciate your support. Of course, we're gonna keep.
All right, that's the video. I'm gonna go to Joel 3, and this is what's gonna happen. This is what this leading to. All right, we're gonna go to Joel 3. And I'm gonna pull this up here. Joel 3 and 9. All right. Okay. All right, we're gonna read this. Joel 3 and verse 1. For behold, in those days and at that time when I bring back the captives of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations, and I will bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat, and I will enter into judgment with them there, on account of my people, my heritage Israel, which is in the four corners of the earth. Not the people that's over there now, the land thieves. So, okay, let's go. And I will enter into judgment with them there, on account of my people, my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered. See that? I just said it in my little speech. Whom they have scattered among the nations. See that? Scattered among the nations. They're not there. They're in the land right now. That's the land thieves over there. They have also divided up my land. See that? They divided my land. Palestine and Israelis. That's the land divide. See, so it says right here in the scripture, they have also divided up my land. They have cast lots for my people. That's Israel. Have given a boy as a payment for a harlot, and it sold a girl for wine that they may drink. Okay, all right. What else we got? All right, let's read 7. Behold, I will raise them out of the place to whence you have sold them, and that's here in America, in the four corners of the earth, where Israelites, the 12 tribes of Israel, and I will return your retaliation upon your own head, and that's Esau, Edom, what he did to our people. Okay, here it go. 9. That's what I wanted to get. Proclaim this among the nations. Prepare for war. World War 3. Wake up the mighty men. Let all men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Go down. Assemble and come, all you nations, World War 3, and gather together all around. Cause you mighty ones to go down there, O Lord. Let the nations be weakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there I was set to judge all the surrounding nations. And that's World War 3. All right. Okay, let's read on to 13. Put in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, go down, for the winepress is full, the vats overflow, for the wickedness is great. Multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. That's World War 3. Okay, let's go to 16. The Lord also will roar from Zion, and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and earth will shake. But the Lord will be a shelter for his people, and the strength of the children of Israel. All right, 17, and I'll finish the video out. So you shall know that I am Lord your God, dwelling in Zion, my holy mountain. Then Jerusalem shall be holy, and no alien shall ever pass through her again. See that? Aliens. That's Amalek. That's Benjamin, that and Nada, you wish, and Esau, Edom, Biden, and no alien shall ever pass through her again. All right, I want to give our praise to Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS, 144,000 hopeful elect. Shalom, shalom, shalom.